Hello, this is Eugenie Jones, and welcome to Ernestine Anderson Qualities of a Winner webinar. This webinar was presented to Garfield High School's Jazz Ensemble class, along with other students at Garfield High. It is part of an ongoing effort of the Celebrating Ernestine Anderson tribute series, where we wanted to specifically target youth in our community and share life and legacy information about Ernestine to people who didn't grow up listening to her music. But we wanted to put it in the context of how certain attributes that she possessed enabled her to be a winner and achieve the dreams and aspirations of her heart's desire. And we also wanted to challenge students to ask, do they possess comparable attitudes and characteristics? And so this webinar was an opportunity for us to do that. One of the first things that we did was we tested their knowledge and see how much do you really know about Ernestine. So we asked questions like, what high school did she go to, which of course was Garfield, and who were her famous friends there, Quincy and Ray, Quincy Jones and Ray Charles, among others, and what stages did she perform on during the course of her career, how many albums did she record, and how many times was she nominated for a Grammy, and how long did her career run? So during this brief slide, we were able to get some of the basic highlights of Ernestine's career through conversation with the students. Now, this gets into the context of the webinar, where we are basically exploring specific attributes that she possessed, and those attributes included positive attitude, high achievable goal setting, being motivated, possessing grit, and then we did a brainstorming session at the very end where the children in the classroom had an opportunity to add their ideas to the conversation as to what qualities a winner should possess. So now we go and we're entering the classroom and hearing what the students have to say about positive attitude.
Say that again. But with the question, it's like, I'm going to dig deeper. So, like, what helped you achieve goals by having a positive attitude in track? Finn says the wind in his hair helps him have a positive attitude about running track and just helped him be better.
Okay. I like that. I used to run, so I can equate to that. All right. So basically, if you can't think of something right now, maybe I'm putting you on the spot and you don't want to speak up and share it with everybody else. But I'm hoping that even though you're silent, that you do have an example of your positive attitude contributing to your success in some regard. So that you might have been scared, you might not have known what it was, the outcome was going to be, but you chose to have a positive attitude about it. And as a result of that attitude, it helped you to be successful. And that's what this attribute is about, positive attitude. So let's look at another one. Another quality that Ernestine possessed was her ability to set high but achievable goals. This is a picture of Ernestine when she was 12 years old. She participated in a vocal competition. If you've ever participated in a competition of any kind, one gentleman said he's a runner. I'm sure that as a jazz ensemble, you all have participated in competitions, yes?
Oh, yeah.
I understand that you guys win quite often in those competitions.
We have.
You have?
We haven't played in a while, so we'll see on the other end.
So when you are setting goals for yourself, you basically are having an attitude of, I want to set a goal for myself because I need a bullseye out in front of me, something to keep me motivated, to keep me pushing forward. And when you have goals for yourself, you set them so that they're challenging, but you also set them that they're realistic. So if I were to say that for example, I want to swim the English Channel, that's my goal. But I don't know how to swim, and I'm afraid of water, and I really don't want to get cold. So is my goal achievable and realistic, or is it not?
I'm hearing some no's. There's some some optimists in the room that are like, maybe.
Yeah, well, take it from me that when it comes to water, the answer would be no. But on the other hand, if the goal was, I want to perform at a certain venue, or I want to record a certain song, or I want to do something to help my community, those are all high goals for me, as long as I make them high, and they're achievable for me. So, what are some goals that you have for yourself right now? Does anyone have a goal that you're working on?
Oh, I know that they do. Let's see. Yeah, Johannes. I'll take a couple for this question. I'll try and bounce around. The student that just shared, if you didn't hear, said he wants to beat a certain video game under a certain time frame. He said he acknowledges that one doesn't matter very much, but that's what he said. Maybe someone over on this side. I haven't heard a lot from this side. Who's got like a goal? You all have goals. Okay, go ahead.
I want to get my writing published.
Ooh, I have a student that just said they want to get their writing published.
Nice.
Let me get one more.
I want to get back onto trombone after dealing with a jaw injury.
I love this laughing. Yeah, did you hear all those?
Yes, I did. I did. Those are all wonderful goals. So let me tell you the difference between people who achieve their goals and people who do not achieve their goals. The people who achieve their goals, they follow something called the SMART paradigm. Are you familiar with that? You all heard of that before? Maybe you have. It's basically a mnemonic for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. So SMART, specific, M, measurable, A, achievable, R, relevant, T, and they're time-bound. So when you look at a goal, and think about this in terms of how many thoughts do you think go through your mind on any given day? Just think about all the thoughts that go through your mind. There are just tons of them. You know, am I going to beat my brother at that game? I'm thinking about my sons now. Am I going to get a higher score than he got? Am I going to get, what am I going to have for breakfast? Where are my shoes? You know, who's going to take me to school today? You know, all those kinds of things go through your head. Where's my homework assignment? Do I have homework? In addition to all those thoughts running through your head, oh, who do I have a crush on this week? And do they have a crush on me too? In addition to all of those thoughts, you have this goal about wanting to improve your trombone playing after having a broken jaw, or wanting to get your work published, or wanting to have a higher game average. All of those goals, they're attainable, but if you don't set them on a paradigm like specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, chances are you'll never get them. One of the first things you need to do for your goal is to write it down. Did you hear that? Write it down. That way, you're already differentiating it from all the other extraneous thoughts that are going through your head 50 miles an hour throughout the course of the day. The fact that you wrote it down, it means it's important to you and that you are serious about it. If it's important to you, you're serious about it, you wrote it down, you're being specific about what it is you want to accomplish, and you're measuring it by saying, I will consider myself successful in this goal when I fill in the blank, when I can play a song all the way through, when I have my work being submitted to a publisher, when I've reached halfway mark on my goals. Those are things that you use to measure and keep yourself accountable for making progress. Achievable means you're choosing something realistic. Like for me, achievable would not be swimming the English Canal. That's just not achievable. But a new song, yes, that's achievable. Relevant means you're choosing something that's important to you. And time bound means you're giving yourself a timetable. You're not just saying someday in the future, because someday is no day. You have to have a specific timetable. Okay, so we got that. Achievable goals. In Ernestine's case, she had achievable goals. She went and talked to her parents and she said, when she was 16 years old, the next time a big band comes through town, I am going to try and hook up with them to go on tour because I want to learn how to be a professional vocalist and I want to tour the world. That was her goal. She said it when she was 16 and well, before she was 16. And at 16, that's exactly what she did. Let's look at the next attribute, motivation. Motivation is that internal driving force of determination. Now, this is Ernestine when she was a little bit older. She was still in this community, but do you know who's at the piano with her right there? Can you imagine who that is?
That looks like a skinny Quincy Jones, but I'm not sure.
There you go. There you go, Jared. Ding, ding, ding. That is Quincy Jones. And they are less than, college age students. And they're playing at college frat parties or college campuses. They went out and got gigs and they performed and they practiced and they had partnerships with one another. Now, do you see on my screen, I have eagles or crows? You guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you, is my question. Are you an eagle soaring high, or are you a crow soaring low?
I heard a lot of mumblings. I don't know what anyone said.
So let me give you something to think about. This is important. When you choose who your friends are, who you hang out with, chances are good, I think I've already said this to you, chances are good the people that you know right now that are so very, very, very important to you, they're your pals, your hangout buddies and everything, chances are good that another 5 to 10 years from now, you won't even know where these people are. You'll be hard pressed to remember their names. Okay, take it from me. I run into high school people all the time and I'm like, we went to school together? Really? Okay, if you say so. But my point is this. The people that you surround yourself with, they greatly influence you. So be careful about who you are hanging with. Are you hanging with eagles, the people who are soaring high, they're visionary, they're going after their goals? They're like Quincy and Ernestine in this picture. They're they're motivated, they're out pursuing their goals, they're working hard to achieve what they want to achieve. Or are they crows? Everything is negative, everybody's negative. I can think of other words, but I won't say it because we're in front of school-aged kids. But you know what I'm saying. They don't have too many positive things to say about anything. Be careful about who you hitch your wagon to, because you want to be around people that are going to be encouraging, motivating, working hard like you are, coming up with ideas to say, well, did you try this or think about that? Those are the kind of people that are going to help you stay motivated and on track for achieving your goals. So I challenge you today to ask yourself, am I an eagle? Am I surrounding myself with eagles? Or am I crow, flying low and flying low with other people who fly low too?
Can I say something to them and just in response? I think something that I've noticed, I'm trying to say this so everyone can hear me. Something I've noticed in response to this idea is the pandemic has really had a powerful impact on the way everyone is acting. And especially as we come out of the pandemic, there are some people that are they're trying to move on with their life, and they're trying to set goals. Even just setting goals right now feels really difficult. It does for me on a daily basis. But I just feel like I'm just re-emphasizing, this is a great point of who you are surrounding yourself with. If they are a negative energy, you're going to be tending to lean towards that energy. If they're a positive energy, you're going to tend to lean towards that positive energy. So I just really liked how you put that.
Thank you, Jared. I appreciate that. There's a saying, and the saying says, steel sharpens steel. If you've ever tried sharpening a knife, you don't sharpen a knife by rubbing it against a piece of wood. You rub a knife against another piece of steel, because those two sharp objects, they sharpen each other. And that's the same thing that you do. If you're steel and you want to be sharp and at the best of your ability, surround yourself with other pieces of steel that will help you stay sharp. Be careful about who you surround yourself with, because it matters. It makes a difference. And if you want to stay motivated and have that internal force of determination that keeps you pushing forward, then the people that you surround yourself with, and more importantly, the internal thoughts that you have about you will help you figure out whether or not you're going to move forward or whether or not you're going to achieve your goal. Look at this picture. You think they knew in this picture that someday Quincy Jones would be standing on a stage receiving Oscars, multiple Emmys, or Ernestine would be traveling all over the world in Sweden? They didn't know where they were going, but they knew they were working hard to get there. And that's what I would challenge you to do today too. Now, lastly, grit. Persistence in the face of defeat. This is one of my favorite words. You may not know this movie, but I'm a cowboy western person. I like cowboy western pictures. And there's an old John Wayne movie it's actually called Grit. It was remade a few years ago. And his character was attributed to having grit. What the heck is grit? Somebody out there tell me, what's grit? Not the stuff you get stuck on the bottom of your shoes and your mom say, don't track that in the house.
Yeah. You're thinking of grits. Someone mentioned grits, but what were you gonna say? Yeah.
Cornmeal at the forest.
What is grit in the
It's like persistence.
persist? Someone said like persistence.
Softness or
Toughing it out. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So let me tell you that those are all perfect qualifiers of grit. Grit is no matter what, you're holding fast. And grit comes into play. Do you think it comes into play when things are going really well, when you're on a winning streak and just soaring high? Do you think that's when the grit comes into play? Or do you think it comes into play when you've had a defeat? You've been humiliated or, just devastated by something not going the way that you thought it was going to go. When do you think grit comes into play and is more important?
Someone said B, as in the later.
And the latter is exactly true. So grit is that thing, that quality, that perseverance, that tenacity inside you that says, no matter what, I'm going to keep trying. I failed, but I'm going to stand up. I'm going to dust off my hind parts and I'm going to try again. It's like that old child's song or old child's book, The Little Engine That Could. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, or I have this little anagram on my desk, and it's a picture of Pinky and the Brain. And you guys probably don't know who they are either. But when my kids were little, we used to watch Pinky and the Brain cartoons. And Pinky, raise your hand if you guys know who Pinky and the Brain are.
I think quite a few actually said they did. Yeah. Quite a few.
Okay, good. So Pinky and the Brain are Warner Brothers cartoons. They were lab rats. They were white lab rats. And they were locked in cages all day and experimented on. But at night, they always broke out of their cages and devised ways they're going to take over the world. And Brain had this huge head from being experimented on. It was very smart, but not so smart enough to take over the world. And Pinky was the dumb rat. And every night they break out and Pinky said, Brain, what are we going to do tonight, Brain? And every night Brain would say, Pinky, tonight we take over the world. And I just think that's so funny that these two little lab rats had this attitude of wanting to take over the world. But imagine if you woke up in the morning and the first thing that you thought in your mind was, what am I going to do today? In my own mind, say your name. What am I going to do today? And in that mindset, you answered, I'm going to get up. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to go after this thing that I've been saying I was going to do. I'm going to go after it. I'm going to try. I may not get it this time. I may fail. I may be defeated, but I'm going to try. So there's a book by Susan Jeffries called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. If you've never seen it, never tried it, look it up. It talks about the fact that every time you take on something new, you're going to be afraid because that's a natural response to taking on something new. But in spite of feeling afraid, you do it anyway. So Ernestine Anderson, she decided she was going to go on a national tour. You think she was afraid to leave her family behind and go out there on a national tour all over the world, cities she didn't know? And she was an African American during the 50s and the 60s, where a lot of places, as an African American, she wasn't even allowed to walk in the front door. She wasn't allowed to eat in the restaurants. She wasn't allowed to sleep in the hotels, but she still left home, the comforts of home, left the comforts of a family, and went out on the road to do what? Why? Because in her mind, her world, she went out to take over the world. In her mind, that world was her music. And so sometimes she was good, sometimes she's excelled, other times she was defeated, but 60 years of her life, she kept pushing forward, traveling the world and accomplishing the things that she did. This is her at a jazz festival in Japan, and she was invited all over the world. Can you imagine someone calling up on the phone, hey, we want you to be in this jazz festival in Sweden or Japan or whatever. Now, that didn't just happen overnight. There was a lot of years of hard work and sacrifice to get her to accomplish that. Just as what you're doing right now, practicing, coming to class, practicing on your own at home, gigging with your friends, practicing with your friends, going to the woodshed and getting better and better and better and better at what you do. You're laying the foundation for the success of your future. Do you believe that? Raise your hand if you believe that.
The ones not raising their hand are still thinking about it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to interject. I'm going to give you a heads up. We have about 10 minutes until the end of school bell.
Okay. All right. So thank you, Jared. We're on the last slide, and this is your chance for you guys to tell me what are some characteristics, some attributes that you think a winner should possess beyond the ones that we've talked about.
All right, let's give him some think time. Oh, Hudson, go. Hudson said willingness to change.
Oh, nice. Let me see Hudson. I want to see what Hudson looks like with that answer. Okay, good. What else? What else do you guys have?
I have one, but it's for the positive attitude thing that we talked about at the beginning.
Well, it still works for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, so like when I feel like when a lot of people first start playing music and they like start listening to a lot of music and they listen to artists that they really like that are really good, they feel intimidated, like I'll never be this good. And I think like it's such a big thing to get over that and to stop thinking about, oh, I'll never be this good, and just trust that you will grow into that and just start enjoying what you're doing. I think that's a really big thing.
That's wonderful. That is very wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that, because it's all in our nature to want to compare ourselves with other people. But I'm sorry, what was the gentleman's name that just said that?
That was Peter.
Peter. Well,
Yeah.
What Peter just shared is very important, because the person that you should be comparing yourself to is who you were yesterday, not to someone else, because everybody, as long as you're comparing yourself to other people, you will always find someone who's better than you and someone who's worse than you. So no matter what they're doing, what's more important is, are you being the best that you can possibly be? Are you doing the work that you should do to be better today than you were yesterday? Thank you so much, Peter, for sharing that. Does anyone else have one more? One more.
No one? Come on, you can do it. It's just a character attribute. Right? Shireen. Doing what? Knowing your worth. Shireen over here, can you wave? Said, knowing your worth.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are smarter than I imagined you'd be. Just kidding. But those are very mature.
Not to be. I mean, I make fun. I give them crack jokes all the time. They appreciate it.
But your answers are very on point and very insightful of you. And I thank you for sharing those, because knowing your own value means that you will never allow someone to make you feel less than who you truly are. And more importantly, you will not let yourself allow yourself to put yourself down and be thinking of yourself as less than who you truly are. So these are the attributes that we've shared in context of Ernestine Anderson. And I hope that you found them beautiful and helpful to you in your life. I just want to say that it's been an honor to be able to be here and talk with you and to share this information with you. I hope that you appreciate the opportunities that you have to learn music, because Ernestine Anderson never went to professional school. She didn't go to vocal lessons, and Quincy, he had some mentors in Seattle, but neither did he. They basically made their bones through their experiences. So you have a leg up in that you have an educational background behind you. So build on that and keep working towards achieving what it is that you want to achieve in your life. Don't judge yourself on the basis of who you are today, because who you are today is just a very small glimmer of who you are going to be in the future. So keep it in perspective and continue to play the music that you're playing and enjoy it with all your hearts, because it's a future that's in your hands to be whoever you want to be. And my name is Eugenie Jones, and I appreciate having an opportunity to share with you the life of a winner through Ernestine Anderson.
Hey, thank you so much. I'd love to have you in sometime once things cool down with pandemic stuff, and I'll definitely stay in touch with you. This was a fantastic presentation, and I shared it with all of the other teachers, but the school's been just chaos, so I'm not surprised that they didn't come out. But I'd love to bring you back in to speak to more Garfield students and hopefully have you in the building. Maybe we can have you come in and sing with us sometime. That would be so fun.
That would be wonderful. I'm looking forward to being able to be face-to-face as well. So in the meantime, you all don't be discouraged. If you are discouraged about the pandemic and about the shutdown and everything, allow yourself to feel that emotion, but don't stay there. Okay, allow yourself to feel it, but don't stay there. Get out and enjoy the things that you can do that are accessible to you, because at the end of the day, you're the only one that has control over your well-being and how you feel. So don't let yourself sink too low. And certainly if you can play an instrument, I would be playing it at every opportunity I get.
Yeah, that's great advice. All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jared. It was wonderful to meet you all. I look forward to meeting you in the future.
Okay, we'll see you again sometime.
Okay. Hey, you guys look up my music.
Okay, I'll make sure they do. See ya.